is from the Regency era. Regency, whatever. Hey guys, what's up? It's Ashley. Welcome back to my channel, and it is October. It is spooky season, so it is time for another gothic romance recommendation video. I did this video about 2 years ago, and I have had people asking for more. I happen to love gothic romances. I have to credit gothic romances for the reason that I love the she falls for the villain trope so many times. It was actually a gothic romance the first time I read that type of scenario, and I've loved it ever since. So I've compiled a list of some of my absolute favorite gothic romances that I think are just absolutely perfect for this time of year, perfect for any time of the year, just gets you in the mood in a dark manner. It's creepy, we've got a castle, paranormal things may or may not be happening, mysteries, all of that. Let's just get into that list. The first one on my list I recently read a few weeks ago, and I think it's gonna go in my top reads of this year. I can't stop thinking about it. It's called Fairydale by Veronica Lancet, and I will start by saying that I think to get the best overall picture story, you need to go in blind. This story is over 700 pages long, but I will say that I was so sucked in and fully immersed into this world that it didn't feel like it was that long. Like, it was just the perfect amount of escapism that I needed for a story, and it was just great. The book takes place in 1955, and at the very beginning of the story, our female main character, Darcy, she is a teacher at a boarding school, and because it's the 50s, she lives there like with some other teachers. They room together, and she receives a letter from her late estranged father that she had never met, asking her to come to his hometown for like the reading of the will and things like that. And it is in this hometown, Fairydale, where when she gets there, very strange things start happening to her. While she's in Fairydale, she meets this man named Caleb, and he comes from this very old, mysterious family, and she kind of has an instant attraction to him while he has an attraction to her. While she's in Fairydale, Darcy starts to have dreams of herself in another time period, the late 1700s, and she's in love with another man. Like, she has very, very deep feelings for him. But when she wakes up, she still feels in love with this man she dreamt about, but she still has very deep feelings for Caleb. So that's all I'm going to talk about the book, because like I said, you really, really need to go in blind for the best setup, build, all of it. It just takes you on a crazy ride. This is one of those true love conquers all type of stories. Definitely going on my top reads of the year. Next up, I have Grove Hollow Metamorphis by Shelby Nicole McFadden. I just actually finished this the other day. Okay, I will start by saying this is book 1 in an unfinished 4-book series. I did not know that, so it ends on a cliffhanger, but you know what? This was really good. It is perfect for this time of year, and I am going to tell you why. So this is set in 1985, and we have our female main character, Jade, and she was raised by her grandfather. Her parents had died when she was really, really little, and before the book had started, her grandfather passed away, and so she is now sent across the country to the East Coast to live with her grandfather's twin sister. So she will be living with her great aunt. Her aunt is a very eclectic type of person. The people in this town kind of refer to her as the town witch, because she has the manner like very, like, there's taxidermy everywhere, there's mazes, there's just like a bunch of stuff going on, and she's just a little out there. So Jade arrives in this town, and she instantly realizes that it's kind of an interesting place to be. There are these old founding rich families, which she is part of. She didn't even know that before she got there. And then she ends up becoming friends with the misfits, as they are labeled. While she is in this town, you know, getting her bearings and everything like that, she meets Brad at school. Brad is like the hot rugby guy, and they develop an attraction to each other. While she is pursuing her feelings for Brad, she also has some things going on at home where she is being a little bit haunted. And as you get further into the book, you realize that she is being haunted by a very attractive 21-year-old ghost named Will. So this book has very Casper meets 16 Candles vibes. You've got a love triangle with the ghost. There is a century-old mystery going on with what happened to Will, how he died, all of that. It's just like, I don't know what else to say. It's perfect for spooky season. So if it turns you away a little bit that the series is not finished. I do know that book 2 is supposed to be coming out very, very soon, like in the next few months, but it was just great. Like, if you love the movie Casper, I don't know, just go pick this book up. Next, I have Dreadful by Greer Rivers. Now, in a lot of gothic and spooky videos, I do recommend Phantom, which is actually the first book in this series. It's an interconnected series, so you can read them out of order. I mean, they just mention other characters. They don't live in the same cities or anything like that. They're aware of each other. But this is the third book in the series, and I think actually out of all 3, this is the best one for spooky season, even though Phantom is still one of my favorite books ever. Dreadful was really, really great in itself. So this is going to be a Medusa and Sweeney Todd type of retelling inspiration, and it starts off with our 2 main characters. Gosh, I want to say they're like in a church, like prisoned in a church, and they're both being tortured in very bad ways. And so what ends up happening in the prologue is they both help each other to escape and get out, but they kind of both end up thinking that the other one died while trying to get out of this situation. And so they both spend the rest of their lives, their separate lives, trying to avenge the other one. So then you get to modern day, and we have our female main character, Talia. And Talia has a list of all of the people in this church that wronged her, and she is going down the list. She has like a little song and everything that goes with it. It's part of the story, kind of creepy, kind of cool, and she's just going down this list. And then we have Sever, our male main character, and he also has a list that he is going down. So at one point at the beginning of the story, they both are encountering somebody on their list. And so Sever wants to know who the hell Talia is and why she is getting into this business. It has been a little bit since I've read this book, so I could have a little bit of that information wrong. But overall, the big gist of it is that both of them are trying to get redemption for the other, thinking that the other one is gone for good. It's a great story. Like I said, the whole Medusa Sweeney Todd element of it, because Sever is literally going the Sweeney Todd route and chopping up and cutting up these people. It's great. And the next one is going to be a sapphic romance, and that is Serpentine Valentine by Giana Darling. This was her newest release back in February, and I absolutely devoured this one. This is going to be a dark academia setting, and it takes place at like an Ivy League type of university. And at the very beginning of the story, we have one of our female main characters, Lex. And Lex has gotten very close to a professor. They are working behind closed quarters, she's trying to get some research done or something like that. This professor takes advantage of her and ends up essaying her, and thus taking her virginity in the process. And so she obviously is very traumatized and scarred by this. She tries to turn him in, and no one believes her. He ends up concocting a story all on his own, and they all end up believing him. And so Lex makes it her mission to basically get rid of every single horrible man at this university. Then we have our other female main character, Luna, and Luna was a very shy, introverted type of character, and what made this interesting is that Luna was the daughter of the president of the school, and the president is one of the people that is very, very firmly standing behind the professor that assaulted Lex. So Lex also kind of sees Luna as a little bit of an opportunity here to get back at the president as well. So Lex doesn't have the best intentions at getting with Luna in the beginning, but either way, I really liked this story. I liked the murdering aspects. I liked the revenge aspects. I loved the college setting. It was just great. And then really fast, I just want to talk about an OG. This is the book that got me into villains, okay? And that is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. No, this book is not going to be everyone's cup of tea. I read this 3 years ago. I listened to the audiobook and I loved it. So maybe, I don't know, try the audiobook, grab a puzzle, grab a coloring book, play a video game, I don't know. But this story, I don't know. I think everybody should at least try to read it once in their lifetime, but if you don't know the setup of it, So Addie is originally from like the late 1600s, early 1700s, something like that. And because of the time, obviously, she is set to marry. She doesn't want to marry. And so she always tries to get out of these situations. Final moment is up. Like, there is no more getting out of this. She kind of makes a desperate attempt, call, cry, whatever, to the gods. And there is a warning in the story, never like call to the gods at night. She ends up doing that, and so she summons this darkness entity or whatever, and he makes a deal with her so that she can live forever, experience the world, all of that. But it's kind of like a monkey's paw thing, so he ends up taking from her in return. So the kick is that she can live forever, but people will never remember her. So she could be in a room with people. She could be in this room for them for like 3 or 4 days, as long as no one physically leaves her sight, doesn't fall asleep or anything. But if they do, they won't remember her, and that's her curse. And so the darkness in this book, yeah, it was a great little love story. It's set up for this other guy named Henry, but there is a love triangle in this book, and it's just got a lot of elements. I don't know what to say. I think it's a great intro dark romance. But like I said, if you've been kind of wanting to maybe try this book, the audio was great. And then another one I recently finished was The Cruel Dark by B. Northwick. I really enjoyed this. This is only like 270 pages, so you can fly right through this. I have had people tell me that this reminded them of the movie Rebecca and like the old classic book. So if you have read that book and you've seen that movie and you kind of want a little something different with like a little bit of a twist, this book was great. So this book is set in the 1920s, and we have our female main character, Millie, and she lives in a bookshop. She helps this elderly guy like take care of it, maintain it, all of that. And prior to the story starting, she is discovered by this doctor who is friends with a professor who studies Celtic lore and everything like that. And he enlists her to come live with this professor and help him complete his research and stuff. So Millie ends up moving into this really creepy old manor with this professor. And the professor is widowed, and so there is only him and like 3 staff members living there, because whatever had happened to his wife was such a horrible thing that the place is haunted and nobody wants to like set foot on this premises. So while Millie is there working the professor, she starts getting nightmares and being haunted and having visions and everything of the late wife. And so it's got a lot of creepy twists and turns in it. But I really, really liked this book. And then there is a book right after that's like 150 pages, and it's entirely told in the professor's point of view if you want that side. But definitely read this one first. But another great one for spooky season. Then I have Hollow Heathens by Nicole Fiorina. Also recently read this one. Really, really liked it. And it's available on KU. Actually, my whole list is available on KU. But I want to say, if you are one of those people that likes to buy books just for the heck of it, this book is absolutely gorgeous. Like they've got artwork in it to go along with the story. It's just great. There's like this great map and stuff. I mean, yeah, this is me, consumerism at its finest. But hey, what are you gonna do? I mean, you got maps. I mean, look at that. Anyway, let's talk about the story. So we have our female main character, Fallon, and she receives letters from her grandfather that she's never met, telling her that she really, really needs to come to her old hometown that she's never been. She ends up arriving in town, and when she gets there, she discovers that she really shouldn't have come in the first place. Like, her grandfather is acting very weird, like he doesn't want her there. And she discovers this is a very magical town. Like, the town itself won't let her leave. When she realizes her grandfather doesn't want her there, she tries to leave and the town won't let her. So this is a magical town full of rivalry covens, and Fallon is stuck right in the middle of these two because she is the daughter of people from each coven, and each coven wants her with them. So it's just it's got a very interesting mystery. There's a curse that spans several hundred years, and you're trying to figure out the connection with it. And then we have Julian, our male main character, and he is part of one of the covens. Now, he is part of the Hollow Heathens, and they are a cursed coven. And like I said, you're gonna go back and see several hundred years ago to figure out why they were cursed. But basically, all of the Hollow Heathens, they have to wear masks below their nose, because if anyone like pulls down their mask, it'll instantly kill them. Like, it's a curse. And so like there's just so much to this story, curses and magical towns and covens. But it was a fun ride. There is a sequel to this book that is definitely on my radar, but don't read them out of order, okay? But anyway, this was great. And then the last thing that I have is like a 150-page novella. This is from the Regency era. Regency, whatever. That era, okay? Our male main character, the Viscount. And in the prologue, it is in his POV, and it is explaining that he is out for revenge against this one family that solely wronged his family growing up. And by doing that, he needs to marry their daughter, produce an heir, and then he can take everything and destroy it all in front of them. So he is pursuing our female main character, Catherine, and Catherine is very timid and shy, but her parents are in financial danger, and so they really, really need to push her to marry someone, and a Viscount is going to be perfect. And so the Viscount does not hide his scariness or danger to her. He's very, very forward with her, and she tries to get out of it. So it's really fun. It's quick. It was nice to have a dark historical romance. I don't know, just throwing it in there. Like I said, it was fun. Another great one for spooky season. Alrighty, well, that is going to do it for my list of gothic romances for spooky season. I am currently reading more just because I really, really like this genre. It's fun. I think it's just the perfect amount of escapism. But anyways, as always, don't forget to hit like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!